Let's start with the NBA bubble, where if you're online, you can go to the NBA's Twitter page or their website, and you can see that they're laying down the practice floors in ballrooms in Orlando. It is a go. It's going to cost the league $150 million to put on this COVID-19 post-quarantine bubble. And while the rest of the world starts to shut down, the NBA does seem to appear to be a little bit ahead of the curve, right? I was under the impression, I've continued to be under the impression, hey, the rest of the world has opened up. Why won't the NBA open up and have it at practice facilities and have it in home sites? I think when we're seeing some of these numbers forecast what the end of July and August could in fact look like. But what I don't understand, what I will not accept, is star players, or at most any player, deciding they don't want to go play in Orlando. That's right. I'm saying what most of you are thinking. Yeah, it's really hard to tell somebody to get their butts back to work, but that's what I'm telling you. Specifically to a guy like a Brad Beal or a Dwight Howard or an Avery Bradley. Okay, let's start with the COVID-19 concerns. Okay, I am not Clay Travis, who's denying that any of this should have any sort of effect on our lives from this point forward. I'm not. I like Clay. We work at the same company. I vehemently disagree, not because I know what I'm talking about, but I actually believe that scientists, doctors, and oh yeah, by the way, even some, when the state of Texas is like, hey man, we got a problem. Right? Hey man, we got a problem. Like when Texas starts shutting things down, Texas, which is well, I'm actually wearing a Texas hat right now that says, come and take it. Come and take it. It was a mantra from the Texas War of Independence from Mexico. Texas is the Lone Star State. Hey, Governor Abbott stuck out his chest and we're opening up before everybody else. Now they're closing up because they see the numbers are not trending in the right direction. But here's the problem, okay? Let's say you're Brad Beal. Let's say you're Avery Bradley. Let's say that you're Dwight Howard, and you're saying COVID-19. I got concerns over the quarantine bubble. Okay, I will allow that to be your excuse if and only if you have done the following: self-quarantine this entire time. I'm only going to either cook my own food, which I shop for myself, and when I shop for it, I have gloves on, I have a mask on, or when I order it out, I have all the different precautions because, hey, even though fewer people, you come in contact with fewer people, the Uber driver or the DoorDash guy, he comes in contact with lots of people. You can't control that. Plus the cooks, plus whoever handled it, from the cook to putting it in the packaging. Like, if you're blacklighting all of that stuff and finding the germs and operating as if you're still in self-quarantine and self-isolation, I'm good. But the truth is, most of these guys have been out and about, and if they haven't been out and about, people around them have. The world is open under varying levels of phases of quarantine. So you mean to tell me you think you're safer at home than you are in the quarantine bubble, where you'll have doctors and medical personnel, the best of the absolute best, and a limit to who can come in and who can come out where there's no limitations outside of it? Yeah, I'm not buying that. That is not in the real world, that's a BS excuse. We all know it. We're just not willing to say it because people throw out my kids. I can't see my kids. And we talk about family, which is reasonable. I'm a parent. I've never liked it when some people act as if they're the only ones who, when they go to work for their job, have to leave their kids at home. That's called work. That's what you have to do. That's why the take your kids to work day is once a year. Because for the most part, you can't take your kids to work. What, did you just become aware that basketball was a job that was going to take you away from home? Right? And oh yeah, by the way, for the guys that aren't going to make the playoffs, like a Brad Beal, like, dude, we're talking about a month. You go down there, you train for a couple weeks, you play 8 games, then you go home. They're not making the playoffs. It's not happening. So really, it's more the Dwight Howard who's reconnected with a kid from a previous relationship, or LeBron James who's got his family. And no one has said those kids can't come. If they want to come after a certain amount of time, they can come. The problem is that they have to be in quarantine for 4 days once they get there. But yeah, you potentially could not see your kids and your wife or your significant other for 3 months. But you've gotten 3 months where you could only see them. And oh yeah, by the way, here's the biggest thing. I may sound like a callous jerk. I may sound like somebody who lacks empathy and understanding. Or maybe I'm just telling you the reality of it. This is not about the Washington Wizards per se. This is not about the Lakers. Yeah, if I'm LeBron, I'm pissed off at Avery Bradley. We wanted you on this team. We signed you on this team. We put forth that we have one goal. That's to win a championship, an NBA championship. You go down in immortality, maybe even more so now for this year than you would any other year, because you're going to be one of the only things on. There's not going to be fans. It's a very unique environment. But for LeBron James, I wanted you on this team to win a championship. And now all you got to do is go and stay in a luxury hotel for a couple months and play ball, and you don't want to do it? Come on. Please don't give me the lack of ability to be part of the social justice movement. The NBA has a limit. Look, ma'am, we're going to put Black Lives Matter on the court. You can make statements on the back of your jersey. And oh, yeah, by the way, every time you're interviewed, you still have social media. You can still post whatever you would like. No one has stopped you from being part of the movement. No one. That's a BS excuse as well. So what are we left with? Look, the industry that you work for, and I'm not saying that basketball is perfect, but they're just about as good at contracts as you could ever get. They are guaranteed dollar for dollar. Your leg could fall off. Brad Beal's leg could fall off. I don't want it to. I think Brad Beal's a great, not good, great player. Okay? He is as underrated a player nationally as there is. But his leg could fall off. He signed a 2-year extension with a 2-year player option that could be worth up to $144 million. He's already made $107 million in a short NBA career, of which he's probably got 10 more years. At least. I mean, he's going to clear $300 million just on basketball alone, not any other stuff, whether he wins, loses, anything, because he's good at it. That industry needs you. Like, I'm not even talking about the public and how we do need a distraction from everything else, and that's what sports provides, or an entertainment value. And maybe to some that signifies that it'll be a distraction from social justice change. Whatever. Your industry, the one that has created this platform for you, the one that will make not just your kids or your grandkids well-to-do. That industry, that sport needs you. And you're like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. Like, sports and success in sports has always been about sacrifice. I just saw LeBron James post, early bird gets the worm. He's the first one in the Lakers facility today. He's there by himself. Sports and your success of it is about sacrifice. So I'm sorry, guys. You tell me that I don't want to go just because, I don't know, social justice, COVID, family. I speak for most of the American public. The reality is you have a very well-paying job. You're one of 450 humans on earth that are better at your job than anybody else. You're great. You're paid to be great. We're not asking a lot of you. And frankly, we're not asking of you. Your industry needs you at this very moment. And the selfishness and self-centeredness of so many guys who look at themselves and say, of course you don't want to do it. But how you got here was, did you want to go to the gym every morning to get shots up? To work on your body? Of course you did. You didn't because you wanted that ultimate payday. You wanted the respect of your peers. You wanted to be one of the chosen few. You've gotten here, and now you've forgotten all of that. Those sacrifices daily you won't make for a month to 3 months. Because why? Don't give me the COVID-19. That's BS. We all know it. You can tell me social justice. That's fine. The truth is, we're talking about a month for Brad Beal, 3 months for Avery Bradley, and you'll have a platform, and you'll have your social media if you want to promote change. And oh yeah, by the way, all the money that you make and that you generate, you can donate to the causes that need those resources to be successful. Family, they can join you or they cannot join you. But the truth is, you weren't toting them all around the country when you were playing ball to begin with, right? And you just spent 3 months with them. I'm not actually outraged. I'm kind of embarrassed. As an athlete, as a guy who I used a slightly above average college career to make it for myself, my own industry. Like, look, we're struggling in the media, right? It's hard to ask people to sponsor radio and TV shows when they're laying people off or furloughing people. We're laying people off and furloughing people. But you show up every day at work because that industry needs you during the times when they are toughest. Anybody can show up. Anybody can show up when times are good, right? It takes nothing to show up for a home game when the place is packed and the Lakers are coming to town. This to me, and this is the Dwight Howards, the Avery Bradleys, and the Brad Beals, this strikes as the exact opposite of how most every athlete sees this opportunity and sees their sport, their industry needing them, and what you should properly do. And I can't understand it, take it, or tell you that I think it's the right thing to do. Everyone throws out their family, their family, their family. We all have families. We all have families. And while there is a sacrifice and it does suck, nobody said you can't take your family ultimately with you after a certain period of time if they want to go through the quarantine, or they can stay home because you were with them for the last 3 months. You can tell me I'm callous, that I lack empathy or some sort of feeling. I'm telling you what everybody thinks, or a very, very strong, high percentage. Not the social media outrage over Gottlieb doesn't care. That's not true. But every sort of fear that you may have has been eliminated. Damian Lillard has doubts about the NBA bubble. My confidence ain't great. My confidence ain't great because you're telling me that you're going to have 22 teams full of players following the rules when we have 100% freedom. Everybody don't follow the rules. I don't have much confidence, but hopefully it'll be handled to the point where we're not putting everybody at risk or in a dangerous position. Again, I love Damian Lillard. I love watching him. I love his story. I love the fact that my brother was at Cal. He was right down the street. And I think my brother's a great evaluator of basketball talent. And he was like, look, he was a 6'2" guard. And we just, he went a place where he got a chance to be a point guard. And he's way better than anyone ever thought he could be. Like, I love guys that prove everybody wrong. That's who Damian Lillard is. But like, dude, okay. There are rules to quarantine and to the bubble. Understood. But at least there are rules